Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is my hope and prayer that this video is actually going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I'm fine. Kisumu is also fantastic. Maybe you could let me know where you're watching the video from, the county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Raila Odinga today addressed the nation. And I want us to do a critical analysis of Raila Odinga's address to the nation. Because if you ask me, that address is significant politically speaking. And for those who follow the politics of this country closely, a few days ago, Raila Odinga issued William Ruto with some 3 demands. And that if those demands were not going to be met, then he was going to address the nation, where he was going to call for massive mass action. So today was the day. So let me ask you, how would you rate today's event? Or what was your expectation? And were those expectations achieved? Out of 10, kindly just give me your ratings. So I want us to do analysis of this particular state of the nation addressed by Raila Odinga. Before we do that, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, I want you guys to take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Now, I want you guys to always, if possible, for those who can, engage me via WhatsApp. I normally give my WhatsApp number in case you don't have it. I know so many people have it, but those who might not have it, the number is 0777 741323. Anytime, any day, just drop me WhatsApp and I'll try so much to respond. And I always prefer a situation where the engagement is actually adding value, so that we don't just waste a lot of time. Because remember, we have so many people. Avoid phone calls. Calls don't go through. It will just be purely WhatsApp. And of course, for those who normally send me coffee, you know how you can do it. Maybe I can read the number again, 0712 741323. 0712 741323. Omondi Amos. Now, let us analyze the big day today. Someone has told me that the whole thing was underwhelming. And personally, I'm rating it at 6 out of 10, which is not very good. And I'm going to explain to you in this analysis, going by step. The first thing which I want us to look at is the political formation, which actually emerged from today's event. The moment the whole thing started, Eugene Wamalwa took over as the MC. He handed over the microphone to Martha Karua, who then handed over the microphone to Kalonzo Musyoka, who then handed over the microphone to Raila Odinga. So I'm looking at that formation, the hierarchy. As a matter of fact, Eugene Wamalwa has now found a place within Azimio. So if there's one individual people should watch very closely, it's Eugene Wamalwa and his latest roles. Because when these guys emerged, Kalonzo was not in the military combat, Karua was not, Raila was in, Eugene Wamalwa was also part of it. Which begs the question, why do you think Kalonzo, Karua were not in the military fatigue? Someone told me even Wajakoya. Of course, Wajakoya has his own identity. I don't think he would go that route. He has his own identity. But why Karua and Kalonzo were not in the military combat? Probably, in my own opinion, probably because they are lawyers, they didn't want, Kalonzo is not that firebrand, Martha Karua is. But maybe you might tell me, why do you think Kalonzo, Karua, and maybe Wajakoya were not in the military fatigue? But I'm looking at the formation. Wamalwa is going to play a key role, and it also seems that Kalonzo has now overtaken Martha Karua in the pecking order, because previously, because Karua was Raila Odinga's running mate, she would be the second, then Raila Odinga. But there's something which also caught my attention. The bunge la wananchi were not represented fully at this particular event. If I were to organize this event for Raila Odinga, I would have Martha Karua seated there. I would have Raila Odinga seated there. To his left or right, Kalonzo, Karua. The rest of the group, nyuma. Then what would I do? I bring bunge la wananchi, Okango there. I would bring Gaucho there. Then I would bring these other guys of MDD. Then I'll give them time to speak. And because they're radical, they would have spoken what needed to come out. But these guys were actually nowhere. When Raila Odinga finished, he went and took photos with the team which were at the front there. Bunge la wananchi were not there. But of course, Ledama Lekena was there. Of course, Wajakoya was there. So maybe, but I saw that as something which was not right. The bunge la wananchi guys have really pushed, and Raila Odinga needed to have them on the process. And that's why in one of my analysis, where I pointed out the mistakes which William Ruto should avoid, one of them was that he should not, which Raila Odinga should not have accepted, is that Raila Odinga should not have accepted this project or process to be hijacked by politicians. The fact that these guys were locked out means politicians have hijacked it. The second thing which also came out is the rallying call. Rallying call. Ruto must go. That was the rallying call. I don't know whether they'll sustain it, but for me, it was good. But remember, the reaction from the people who were present was not Ruto must go. For them, the rallying call was Sakayo must go. So if I were part of the strategy team of these people, I would tell them to change it from Ruto must go to Sakayo must go, because that would sell so much and very fast. And of course, it will also shield anybody from any blame, because you can't say Sakayo must go and then someone comes to arrest you. If you say Ruto must go, then there would be a problem there. So for me, the rallying call is okay. But now let me just take you through the statement which had those rallying call. There are around 15 of them if you read the statement, which says, fellow Kenyans, starting today and now, we hereby declare the official start of a countrywide mass action for the following reasons. So they gave 15 reasons. For me, I don't even understand why they had those 15 reasons. Kenyans are tired. Kenyans don't need 15 reasons. You know, even if you were to read this, one of them, let me just read for you 1, 2. Number 1, the high cost of living in Kenya, which is as a result of massive looting of public resources and heartless withdrawal of subsidies to food, fuel, and education by Kenya Kwanza regime in the middle of a drought and economic meltdown. To lower the cost of living and to restore the dignity of our people, Mr. Ruto must go. So that's the rallying call for number 1. Number 2 is the overtaxation by illegitimate regime is killing our businesses, improvising families and damaging opportunities for investment. This must immediately stop for Kenya to economically recover. For this reason, Ruto must go. So there's a rallying call, and you know, we are talking of 15 of them. I'm sure by the end of this press conference, very few people actually remembered the 15. Remember, initially when Raila Odinga began the People's Consultative Assemblies, he narrowed his issues to 10. No, very few people remembered. But when they were narrowed to 3, which was IBC, very specific, commissioners, very specific, the server, which was very specific, it was then possible for anybody. There were 3, cost of living, servers, and IBC commissioners. Then it was possible for anybody to understood what they wanted. Now, for me, if I were to have these issues, some of them would be merged to make them maximum 5 issues. 5 issues. So for that, I think they missed something. Then there was the launch of MDD, the Movement for Defense of Democracy. Now, this movement was initially unveiled by a group of youths. And if you've been following the politics around the movement, they've been clashing with Bunge la Wananchi. Remember, Bunge la Wananchi is ideally supposed to be apolitical. So probably that's why they didn't want to go that route. But the Bunge la Wananchi felt that this group was coming to hijack a process which they were never part of. Now, this group now, MDD, has now been officially unveiled. And I don't know who is behind it, because it can't be coincident that they started coming up around 4 weeks ago, and today Raila Odinga officially launched it. Who are their leaders? But if you ask me, Raila Odinga is very strategic in his approach. Despite the fact that the youths were ignored during today's event, I tend to think that the reason why they unveiled the MDD so that it's owned by the youths who are not politicians, as opposed to the politicians owning the whole thing. So for me, that's something which is also very important. Then let us look at the strategy. What is Raila Odinga going to do? Because he has said that today marks the beginning of it says, starting today and now we hereby declare the official start of a countrywide mass action for the following reasons. So which means today marks the beginning of official mass action. But what is their strategy? How are they going to do it? If you read this statement, it's a bit long. There's a place where they are telling us what to expect. Now, they are saying, if you look at it, we launch a campaign of defiance of peaceful picketing. So it means these guys are planning series of picketing. And remember, when Raila Odinga read the statement, he only stated the beginning, and he also indicated the 20th. Raila Odinga never mentioned what was going to happen between tomorrow and 20th, which was also very strategic, because I tend to think that they have something up. So they are saying the first one would be picketing. Then they are also going to have peaceful protest across the country. Then they are going to have boycotts. So probably they'll have a list of companies whose products they will want to boycott. They're also saying that they're going to organize strikes. And if you read below, they are saying, we also urge the victims of retrogressive policies of this illegitimate regime, including workers, doctors, teachers, nurses, blah, blah, to join this political revolution and movement for change. We are strong together. So basically it means that they'll work with relevant trade unions to organize strikes against the government. Then they're talking of disobedience. Now, this is now the mass action where you just disobey. You are told, go there, then you go this other side. Then they're also talking of peaceful petitions. So it's likely there are people who will be writing petitions which will be submitting to various institutions, including maybe foreign bodies, churches, church leaders, and the rest. And the other strategy is that they are planning peaceful sit-ins. So, for example, there's supposed to be the interviews for IBC commissions, and the events should be public. So what they are saying is, on those particular days, they will go and sit and ask questions. Very, very interesting. So then they'll also be organizing peaceful demonstrations, and it begins today and now. I don't know what has happened after this, but I've heard that there are certain areas where demonstrations have actually been witnessed. So the biggest question out of all this is the end game. What is the end game? What are they planning ultimately? That is the elephant in the room. If you read Raila Odinga's statement, the last paragraph is very clear on what they are planning to do. Let me just get it. It says, it says here, let me just read it for you. It says here that as your leaders, we commit to fight, resist, and defy this illegitimate regime side by side with you until our voices are heard and respected. So they're just encouraging people there. Then we recognize that only through hardship and sacrifices can our cries be heard and acted upon. So it means they are urging their supporters to be ready. And it is, we will be with you to the better end. So it's just a commitment that they'll be with the demonstrators to the better end. It is action time. Let us all come out. But the most interesting part is the last paragraph. You know, this is what the last paragraph is saying, which for me is the most important part of this statement. That take note that on 20th of March 2023, we have a date with destiny in Nairobi. On that day, our supporters throughout the country shall stage a massive procession in Nairobi for a legitimate and inclusive government. Save the date. And probably this is what prompted the Cabinet Secretary for Interior, Professor Kithure Kindiki, to issue a statement banning Raila Odinga from almost all government facilities. I don't know what to think, but that's my take. Thank you, and may you have a good day. Bye-bye.